Hello, my name is Andy Clark, live in Eugene, Oregon. What you're going to hear is an actual audio, an official audio from the Lane County Court, February 28th, 2012. I had waited 6 months while being unemployed to have $5,500 of spousal support reduced. I worked with their legal aid two different times in August of 2011 to prepare the right motion. What you're going to hear is unbelievable, where it was not only not reduced, the other attorney billed $10,000 of a fee for a simple matter, and stuck each party with half of it. And then just a few months later, they file a judgment which was allowed to take my home and sell it, my freely owned home, my only remaining asset from the divorce, where she got millions. Amy Clark, she has two homes, a mansion gated Fox Hollow, Eugene, Oregon, another home on Friendly Street, Eugene, Oregon. She's attested, and you're going to hear, to having $80,000 as of February 28th. And then they allowed an affidavit saying that she's desperate, so they need an emergency hearing to take my home, and they were allowed that. What you're going to hear here is clear audio record of Holocaust, where they break it into little parts and they can do whatever they want to you. I'm fighting it. This is part of it. If anybody can help, do what you can. I'm going to enhance the audio as time goes along. I want to get it up quickly. It's mostly for attorneys. And I'm going to put in markers, the key portions where fraudulent evidence is being put in by the attorney, where they're actively discussing my employment scenario and what the employer thought of me. It's rather shocking. And then it's used as a basis to take your home away when the other party is in no need whatsoever. That's Holocaust, my friends. I'm Andy Clark. This is my story.
Okay, good morning. We are here in Clark versus Clark, case 1506-02980. This is the time set for a hearing on Mr. Clark's motion order to show cause regarding termination of spousal support. I can tell you that it is taking me just a little bit to get up to speed on this very thick file. I have reviewed respondent's trial memorandum, and I have also reviewed a number of motions that appear to have been filed today by Mr. Clark. And so I kind of want to take those up and get those dealt with so we can actually deal with what we're here for. Mr. Clark, why did you file these all today, sir?
I was hopeful because I filed with the FBI. Let me walk back a little.
I don't want to walk back. I want to know why you filed them today.
Because when I filed with the FBI on the other part of the issue last week, and the district attorney last week, excuse me, not last week, but the week just before on a Thursday, I was hopeful that by then I'd be able to meet with them on some of these issues.
Well,
and I haven't been able to meet with them on some of these issues. Now, I wrote them on the 24th, but again, we don't have to go through them all. The ones that were pertinent, really, to this particular hearing.
I'm trying to figure out how any of them are pertinent to this particular
let me go
hearing,
through
to be honest.
First of all I got was, they're all pertinent. We're going to go through each of them.
Well, actually, sir, I get to tell you how we're going to go through things, so it's going to be in your best interest to make sure you follow instructions today, because all I've asked you is why you filed them so late.
Well, again, I didn't see them as late. I brought them to the window. I'm sorry, man, but here's what it is. When you said they were late, it put me and it made me feel bad. And then I responded feeling bad, like I was guilty of something. Okay, you understand how my emotion
Is there a motion to compel still pending?
Last I knew, they were trying to compel me to give them financial data, and I already gave Mr. Newton everything. Ma'am, I'm not working. I'm not employed right now. I'm in federal process with Wells Fargo for reporting to the FBI.
Well, let's first
take up. It's in process, and he knows this.
We're going to take up these motions one by one. I'd like to just deal with them. I want to first take up it's got three things in your caption: motion to deny, motion to compel, motion to deny expedited hearing, and motion to find Bruce Newton in contempt of court. Now, the reason I take that one up first, it looks like Judge Rasmussen on February 23rd denied the respondent's request for an expedited hearing on the motion to compel, so we really don't have that.
Oh, ma'am, I'm a pro se.
And this was, it says it was mailed to you, so.
Again, ma'am, I'm pro se, and it may be in my box. I don't have a legal staff. I apologize for that. Ma'am, do you understand that was relatively recent?
Okay, I'm
And
just
I've been-
trying to frame the issue so we know what we're dealing with today and what we know we're not dealing with,
Let me
okay?
explain that I have what's called a guilt complex, meaning when someone in authority asks me a question, even though I'm always innocent 100% of the time because I was raised, if they know my mama, I get nervous, and it makes me nervous, even though everything I've done was perfectly right all along. And so I need to make sure that you understand that when you ask me these questions, I feel, oh my gosh, I freeze up. You know, like I did something wrong. And I'm sorry, ma'am, I just did not get that letter. And if I had gotten that letter, that's the kind of letter I was waiting for before I submitted these, so that I knew what I had to submit. Do you see that, ma'am? I wouldn't have submitted it.
Let
had I
me
known
ask
that.
this, and I'm gonna ask Mr. Newton to let me
Yes.
know as well. Is there a motion to compel still pending, or are you just prepared to go forward today?
There is a motion to compel that's still pending. We have not received any response whatsoever to
Okay,
request for production.
So, sorry.
I'm just trying to, I wanna take, I spent the time, I read all of your motions, which took a while, cause there are so many. And I am just simply trying to get through this methodically, because really the only issue before the court today is the spousal support. But I thought, while we're all here, let's just try to address everything so we can move forward.
May I address the court with a question, ma'am?
You may.
What would help me, and that's part of the reason, again, why it took me so long to respond with this, I didn't know what I'm responding to. In other words, I'm here in court, facing the court, and as you can see, it is rather vague what I'm here for.
Well, it's on your request. We're here on your request.
I didn't request to be here.
You did, actually, sir.
How did I request to be here, you guys?
I'm gonna help you understand that, okay?
That was this August motion.
Yes, that's what we're here finally on today.
Right, but the mail that I got was regarding a motion to compel production of financial information, and I've already given it to them. I thought that was the sole purpose of our meeting today.
Sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you filed motion in order to show cause regarding termination of judgment spousal support obligation, which sounds to me like you don't want to pay spousal support
No.
anymore. Am I correct
No,
on that?
ma'am, I would love to pay spousal support because I believe in paying people money that's owed. But right now, I have no employment. I haven't had employment. The spousal support amount you'll see is $5,500 a month. And they've delayed this 6 months, which then makes, I'm penniless. I've had to liquidate most assets. Every financial asset I've had has always had her name on it. It's been, ma'am.
What are you seeking though, sir? You're the one
What
that
I'm
filed the
seeking-
document
okay,
that got us
What
here
I'm
today.
seeking right now, because I have no employment, I have no assets other than my home and the assets that I've disclosed in the past, for right now at least, termination of some form. Again, I'm not an attorney, real attorney like they are. I don't know the right words. I'm just saying I have no employment. I'm in federal process as a rightful party against a very large institution. I feel there will be very good financial settlements coming from it. I proposed this morning that we really need to put this off because I want their help with it. I want them to be a party if I croak or something, because it's a righteous cause. It's real and it's righteous. And I'm trying to gather them and our community together. I don't have much left. I'll give them whatever documents they want, but my fear has been they're using it really sort of to, I don't want to say it, but to generate fee more than to achieve justice.
Okay.
I've never denied them anything. I've never hidden. At the very first...
Well, let me ask you this,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
I'm going to try to go through this, like I said, very methodically, and it will be very helpful.
Well, we may not have to go through all of it.
If you'll just listen, I'm trying to make this simpler for everybody, so why don't you have a seat? I don't need you to stand, okay? Let's just try to go through this kind of systematically. I think it's easy for us to all get very convoluted with the many things that have been filed. But it looks like, there was a motion, a request for production, and it was file stamped with the court on January 23rd of this year. And it asked for a number of documents.
And all of which were provided back in June. I don't have more tax returns, and he knows I've been in federal process.
Okay.
So it didn't appear to me that there was any benefit of asking. He's asked for all that material now over the years, and it's never been used in a court. I've always provided it in the past, and there's never been a hearing. In other words, he collects all this paper at great expense, but it never sees the light of court. So
Let me hold on, because this is their motion.
Right.
And so I'm going to ask Mr. Newton to tell me, could you tell me, sir, what it is you are actually seeking or believe exists that you have not received?
Your Honor.
And I also want you to address the fact that it appears everybody's ready to go today. We don't want to necessarily set this over.
Right.
So how do you wish to proceed, sir?
It may be that we can proceed. For instance, I'm hearing now that perhaps he hasn't filed any tax returns since 2008. So
You were given the 2009 stuff, weren't you? Did you get on that list? I brought a whole package to your office.
Hold on. Let's let him. We have to.
So sorry.
Okay, Mr. Clark.
Yes. I'll go home right now and get it for you. If you don't have those, you can
Mr.
come to
Clark.
my house right now.
Mr.
and we'll go
Clark.
shopping.
Okay, I don't want to have to raise my voice. Here's what I'm going to give you one rule. I need you to just follow my directions, okay? If you can do that, that is going to, I think, help facilitate getting through this. While I realize this can be very stressful for everybody, if I'm addressing something with Mr. Newton, you can't interrupt. If I'm addressing something with you, Mr. Newton knows he's not going to interrupt. So we have to kind of have all these rules. I'm going to ask Mr. Newton to kind of tell me some stuff. I just want you to, you can please sit. You're fine to sit. I'm hearing that there may not be some returns filed that you may have been seeking. What is your position, Mr. Newton?
That's correct. And we had a modification hearing in 2009. We wound up settling it, so we did get documents at that time. But for instance, we don't have income information, which seems very pertinent to this conversation. I do understand that Mr. Clark is not presently employed, but for instance, I have partial wage information for 2010, but it's only partial up to September. I also found out yesterday that an asset, a very large asset, which was previously kind of an expectation, like an inheritance that Mr. Clark might get, he actually has received it, and that was in response to a subpoena ducus tecum to his father, and I just received that information yesterday. So, and I simply want to avoid the situation where we have this trial and there are assets or wage information that I'm not privy to.
Okay, so how do you wish, are you asking to proceed today or not? That's where I'm trying to, because normally, just to let everybody know, if there's a motion to compel pending, that usually gets heard before the trial.
That's what I thought.
Hold on just a sec. So that people can exchange that information and be prepared and informed as to how to proceed.
The motion was filed very late.
So, would it be helpful? I'm going to ask Mr. Newton first, so I'm just talking to him right now. Would it be helpful for me to step down for a few minutes to try to sort through some of what you believe is missing with?
I could talk to Mr. Clark for maybe 5 minutes.
That's what I'm thinking, is not much longer.
Because I can see possibility of just proceeding, and I do understand that often it's better to do that.
Mr. Clark, I hear you explaining, sir, that you thought you've turned everything over. I think there's a difference of opinion on that. What I'm going to do is just step down for a few minutes, about 5 minutes, so that the two of you can maybe just chat about if you can find some sort of understanding on what might be out there that still needs to be turned over, and then I'll come back in. This is just to help, again, I want to narrow the issues so that we can really focus on why we're here today, okay? So I'm going to step down just for a few minutes, and my clerk will come get me, and